I swear to God, every time I sit in this chair, I feel like Wendy Williams. How you doing? What's up, guys? Welcome back. And first of all, I would just like to say thank you for all of the love that I received. But I'm super excited for this week's recipe. I found out about jollof rice a few weeks ago. To be honest, I never ever heard of jollof rice. And as a New Yorker, we all know that the food scene is so diverse. And I know this might sound crazy, but I never ever been to like an African restaurant before.
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn.
Popped up on my timeline, to be honest, and I think it popped up because like my dream trip is to actually go to Africa. Like I always wanted to go, and like I literally just got my passport right before the beginning of the pandemic, at the beginning of this year. And so I had all these trips lined up. Like I was going to go to Mexico, I was going to go to Jamaica, I was going to go to Russia, all in this year. And unfortunately, you know, the pandemic happened and I had to cancel all of my trips. But anyways, at the beginning of next year, the plan was to actually go to Africa, because I finally have my passport and I'm literally about to be 30 soon, and I never been out of the country, the States. I never. Like the furthest I ever been was freaking Vegas, and that's it. But anyway, jollof rice is basically a tomato-based rice with peppers, and depending upon exactly where in West Africa you get this dish, it might be slightly different depending upon the spices that's, you know, in that region or the particular rice that is being used. Okay, enough with all of this talking. Let's just get into this video, all right?
The first step in making jollof rice is preparing your tomato pepper sauce. You will need a red bell pepper, a Scotch bonnet, some garlic, some red onions, some ginger, and tomatoes. Once you have all of your ingredients inside of your blender, you want to turn it on and give that a good mix. I actually made this recipe twice, and the second time I did it, I used 2 Scotch bonnets. And I would suggest not doing that because it was super spicy. I could barely handle it. So the next step in the recipe is to actually cook your tomato pepper mixture on a medium-high heat for about 20 minutes. Now it's time to move on to stage 2 of the recipe, which is preparing the jollof rice. So you want to take your garlic and basically mince it. So the next step is to basically take your 2 red onions and you want to cut them in half, peel them, and thinly slice them. Here's a little tip when cutting the onions: make sure that they all are the same size because it looks better presentation wise. Now what you have to do is heat up some oil. You want to basically take your onions and put it in the hot pot with the hot oil. And you want to cook the onions until they are transparent. Once the onions are transparent, you want to save some of them for garnish at the end of the recipe, but the rest you want to use for the recipe itself. Now you want to add your garlic. It's important to add it at this point so the garlic won't burn. Garlic burns pretty easily, and when it burns, it has like a really nasty, bitter taste, and you do not want that. Now I'm adding my seasoning, like my salt, my pepper, my turmeric, And we cannot forget about the paprika. Now you want to give that a good mix. And once you do that, you want to add your tomato paste. The tomato paste actually helps with that red deep color that you typically get in jollof rice. So it's been 20 minutes now and the sauce has reduced and it looks pretty delicious. So what I'm going to do is transfer this sauce to a bowl because I need to use this pot because that's the only pot I have. Well, large pot I have. I know it's a little ghetto, but New York City is expensive and I can afford what I can afford. I'm gonna add some oil to the pot and then add your onion and garlic mixture to the pot. Then you want to give that a good mix around. Now you want to add your tomato pepper mixture to the onions. You want to give that a good mix around just to make sure that you're coating all of the onions. Now you want to add your rice and then you want to mix that up around as well. I'm just making sure every grain of rice is basically covered in this tomato mixture. So the next step is to basically add your stock. I'm using vegetable stock, but you can use whatever stock you have available in your house. Obviously, I'm using vegetable stock because I'm vegan, but to each its own. Now it's time to bake our jollof rice. But before we do that, I'm adding some fresh bay leaf and fresh thyme. It's important that it's fresh and not dried. When placing the jollof rice in the oven, please, I repeat, please make sure you seal up the pot. Make sure there's no openings because you need that steam to cook the rice. You want to place your jollof rice in your preheated oven at 350 degrees. You want to cook your jollof rice for about 35 minutes. Before removing the aluminum foil, it's important that you let it sit for 15 minutes. It is going to be tempting to peek in and see the rice because it smells so delicious. But I repeat, it's important to let it sit for 15 minutes. So I'm taking my fork and I'm just plucking the rice. You never want to dig into the rice because it just makes rice mushy when you dig into it. Now I'm just garnishing my dish. So the onions I told you to save. Now you just want to spread it around. Give it a good even coat. And now I'm adding parsley to the dish. I just love parsley and just parsley makes everything delicious. The onions, the rice, the parsley, the bay leaf, the thyme, it just makes the dish so like colorful. And that's it, and we're done. Like, oh my god, this rice looks so delicious. Now I'm hungry again. Ugh. Thank you so much to Yewande for creating and sharing this recipe.
See, that wasn't even that hard, was it? Now, how much you want to bet when you have a party or a get-together, you're going to make some jollof rice? Super simple ingredients makes a super simple dish. We want food that's delicious. So if you like this video, please like, share, and leave a comment.